Look at these photographs from the boarding schools from your $5 natives in the Library of Congress. Now, we know that the Library of Congress or the government be bullshitting. They like to use doctored photos. We've already seen that with the Miwok tribe, right? So, that just means, that don't mean everything that you see is going to be fucked up. It just means you have to have an extra level of, my bad, I'm trying to plug my phone in. It just means you have to have an extra level of discernment when looking at this stuff. Take your time. So let's look closer at this photograph. Now, this is a staged photograph. Everybody came there for the specific purpose to take the photograph, right? They all are dressed perfectly for photograph day, right? Well, let's take a little closer look here. He's looking that way, right? He's looking somewhere else. He's looking somewhere else. He's looking somewhere else. He's possibly looking at the camera. Camera. He's looking somewhere else. He's looking at the camera. Camera. He's looking a completely different way. What's over there? He's looking somewhere slightly over there too. What's over there? These people somewhat looking at the camera. This dude looks like he's looking at the camera, but he's like slightly off. Slightly off. Same thing with him. Eyeballs are slightly looking like that way, right? He's completely looking that way. What are you looking at? This guy's looking this way. Why are you looking at that way? This guy's looking that way as well as that guy, right? We said him. He's looking that way too. He's looking this way. He's looking that way. Now, you see why I said that about having discernment with photographs? Because this dude is standing yards away from these people, completely far, whatever the case may be. Yet you can see that damn near everybody is like, hey, look at the goddamn cameraman so we can take this photograph, right? This is a believable picture. This shit has to be a goddamn joke. Other things that don't look right. Whose hand is on his shoulder? You want to say it's that guy because he's so straight, but you really can't see a lift up of any arm. Whose hand is on his shoulder? Why is it there in the first place? His hand is there. They at least made it apparent. But I don't even know if the hand is even touching the guy fully. Possibly. Why are you touching the guy in the front of you at the same time? I don't know. They're buddies and they're pals, right? These guys, they got their arms. Yeah, I don't know. It could be their arms. Like, why are you? But wouldn't, I don't know. It just seemed, everything in here just does not seem right. What it looks like to me, personally, is it looks like, Photoshop. It looks like they took all of their portrait photos. They probably had single portrait photos done and put them all together. And I don't even know if they did that. I don't know what the hell this is. I don't trust none of it. You can't even see that. It could just be because it's old. That's what they want you to believe. Why would so many people not be looking at the cameraman? That's the main thing to me. Why would so many people not be looking at the obvious goddamn cameraman in front of you? For that reason, it's a sad day. Looks odd. It really does. Right? So now we start questioning even more things. Well, you have a map here. Where the hell is the damn map? Damn it, where's the map? Hold on, y'all. I swear it should be like right in my face. It's gotta be out there, dude. That's insane. Here it is. It's way up here. Okay. I thought it was just further down than it was. Okay. So on this website, nationalparksandservices.gov, you have your boarding schools. You have your boarding schools, right? First thing I noticed is that the boarding schools are all in the north and over here on the west. Now, the first thing that you really should start asking is, what happened to you? You fought all the Indians over here. You fought all the Indians down here. Most of the 17, 15, 16, 17, 1800s was damn near dealing with this zone right here. But there are 0 boarding schools listed in this area. All federally owned land. I didn't know that. So these start asking questions. Why are there not a bunch of schools down here? But in the list of schools that they list 26, 25 schools. But what they don't list is they do not list the Tallahassee school, the school that I showed y'all. They do not list this school, the Tallahassee Manual Labor School. And this school, where was this at? I think this is in like Alabama or something. Let me see. Where was this located? It might have been in Oklahoma. Where was located? Okay, it was in Oklahoma, Tallahassee, Oklahoma. And you know, I'm gonna tell y'all what this started making me think. Well, we'll get to that because I'll get off on a tangent. But it was in Oklahoma. Now you do have one listed in Oklahoma, one school listed on that map in Oklahoma, but it is not that school, number 19, which was the Chilocco School, Indian Agriculture School. And I have their yearbook, their first yearbook. And I was showing that earlier, actually, to that dude that was talking noise. And so you don't have it listed, but it was there. And it was funded. In fact, looking even further into this, I saw on the BIA.gov site, we're still in the government, you have the Tallahassee boarding school. So they knew it existed. Of course they knew it existed because when you look at the things where it says, where does it say it? Type, funding. I thought it said something about funding. Boarding definition criteria, federal support. Federal support. Yes. Okay, they had federal support at one point and was open as early as 1844. Now, what they're trying to say is, hey, technically we opened up this school and it was open to 84, it housed 80 full-blood Creek students when it first opened in 1850. And then it says a little bit later after that, the main Tallahassee building, hold on, let's see. Creek. The main Tallahassee building was largely destroyed in an accidental fire. Maybe that's why I can't find too many or too many records possibly about it. But I haven't looked too far yet. But it was destroyed in a fire in 1880. The Muskogee Creek Council relocated the children to a new school with Lee Commission as their population had been declining in Tallahassee. The school reopened in 1883 for the freedmen, the descendants of Tallahassee Manual Labor School, for Creek freedmen and their descendants at the Tallahassee, my bad. Tallahassee School. So what they try to do is say, hey, these schools were technically built for the other Indians first, your Siberians, even though they really wasn't here yet, technically, right? As we've seen, there's no proof of these people being here at them times. Even if you try to look up 1800s photographs of them, the main 1800s photographs you get are going to be these. And even then, they say, even this one says it's 1880 questionable. They don't even know when the hell this photograph came out. Same thing with this one in the Library of Congress. And this one doesn't have so many people looking away. It's just a bunch of damn, I don't know, man. I don't know who these people are. They definitely ain't natives, or they natives, but they definitely ain't Indians. They ain't whatever. Some of them look Asiatic. Some of them I could tell just by the what you call it, you know. But you know they young when they kids and young. You know, it's just like whatever. But that's one of the earliest they got. Whereas the Tallahassee Manual Labor School, it's around that same time, 1891, but it's a lot more proof. Like you got people actually doing stuff in these photos. It's not just a bunch of people just set up for a photo op is what I guess I'm getting to. This ain't no photo op. Like they knew people were taking a photo. People knew somebody was taking a photo. That's why they all lined up and looking. It's to a degree it's a photo op, but for some reason they have these people doing this, these kids doing this in the photo for whatever reason. They say keep doing this. I don't know if it was like, hey, just keep doing what you do, or we're trying to showcase in the photo the kind of fun we have here, or the whatever. I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to portray, but what it does look like is it looks like life. It looks like a real photograph. You know, I don't see anything that can be like, oh, that's doctored. And so what I'm getting to, hold on. So what I'm getting to, I said they didn't have color footage. I don't know about. I don't think by 1891 they may or may not have. Have you noticed all the different hairstyles? On the black folks or the Siberians? Because I can't really tell much here. It's because it's so far away. But I can definitely somewhat see some things. But a lot of their hair looks decently straight. To be honest with you, I don't see no afros. Because think about it. I mean, wouldn't you call the hair straight? That's not afros. You don't have to comb. Look at her hair. Like if a person showed up and said their hair is long, straight, and thick, that's what they would see. This is what they would see. Like, and this is 1891. We've got people. Let me show you this. We got people who were slicking back their hair even in the mid 1800s. Let me see if I got that. Yeah, right here. Motherfucking state representatives, nigga. The first state colored representatives, nigga, was super duper sharp, nigga. Look at that. Now, he might have been a mulatto, you know, who knows, but, and him possibly too. He might have been a mulatto. His hair somewhat slicked back. He had the hair slicked back. He could have been a mulatto. He had the hair slicked back. And he had, like, these niggas could be mulattoes, but they may not be. At the same time, I could be. I gotta not say that. I don't know their lineages, so let me not say that. But people knew how to straighten their hair during these times. You know, even let's see if we can find some in this photograph amongst our people. Like, look at his hairstyle. You know, and if you think about it, it makes sense because like even some of the older musicians would have their hair straight. Let's see, what are some like, or is that too, let's say 1860s black musicians. I can't think of no names. let's just look at something like this. What is this? Like it's not afros and it's not straight. It's in a hairstyle. It's pulled up. It's pinned. Got some little thing up there where it's probably keeping it held together. Look at her hair though. Her hair is definitely gorgeously straight. I don't want to say gorgeously straight, but all the hairstyles are gorgeous. But she's definitely got a slick back doing his thing. And look at hers. Like our people have always had an array of hairstyles. Let's see if I can find some more around this time. Like, look at that, Yeah, you can say woolly, but you wouldn't say it's anything like an African's hair. Let's see. And I'm just doing a quick look. I don't know what these people, whatever. But even look at the little Frederick Douglass. And I don't know much about his past or what he was, but his hair is still thick, but still you can lay that bitch down to a degree. It's still gonna be thickly laid down. But yeah. That's just some late stuff. So we'll get back on the. You said you have Nigerian wool hair, Coco with a point. Well, I don't know, man. Most Americans don't really have hair that tight, that dry and tight as an African. And even for those for a reference, even Lewis Corris knew the difference between the hairstyles. If I had that book still up, I was gonna show you. Oh, I do right there. So Lewis Corris drew the California Indians like this, right? With the hairstyles that we could see, right, and the other hairstyles. But he also drew the Africans. What did the Africans look like? I didn't show. I don't think I showed you the Africans. It's pretty hilarious, and it's pretty accurate. Actually, there was this dude on a live stream, and I told him he looked like one of these dudes in the book, and we put this up. We put this up as a side by side on his ass. Motherfucker look exactly like this nigga right here. Go back. I hate when it does that. God damn it. So when Lewis Corris went there to Africa, this is what he saw, y'all. Okay, this is what he saw. This is an African's hair. I'm just saying, like he didn't see no Africans with long hair. He saw beady beads. He saw short styles. He saw rough faces. He saw Africans. So, yeah, that's a receding hairlines. Yeah, he saw receding hairlines. He saw all of that. But when you go to the Americans, nobody drew the Americans like that. Let's look at some amazing Americans. Let's look at some amazing American drawings. What was in my head? You know what? I got a whole album full of amazing Americans. Amazing American Indians. So when people drew us, depicted us, it was many different ways. There's some hairstyles. Can't really tell she's got that on. She's got her curly do, kept up. Hairline straight, everything good, you know what I'm saying? He's got the fro, right? And that's the colorized version, right? You got people like can't really tell from that one. They got hairdressers on, hairdress on, but her hair, would be nice and curly and done up right under there. Hairdress on. Look at that. Hair flowing in the wind. That's an American right there. Okay. It's even got the curl pattern as it flows out. It ain't just some straight strings, right? It ain't some straight stringy shit, you know. It's got a little pattern to it. You know, the white girls, they kind of got their little somewhat thing going. You know, I see how they did the hair there. Little curly puffs on the side kind of thing, whatever you want to call them. You know, like when people drew us, they didn't draw roughness. You know, even these folks. At least that just looks like some of us with short hairstyles and one of your aunties, right? One of your normal aunties, right? Let's look at um let me see. But that's a lot of allegory of the continents up there. Even on here, even the Chippewas, you know? Even the Chippewas, different hairstyles. Look at that. Just now that's kind of stunning, you know what I'm saying? He doing different, you know, niggas like to do different things. Stuff like that. Like, yeah, there wasn't no roughness. If anything, there was curly, kind of froze, kind of woolly curly, you know, but not just hardness, you know, like that. So, you know, the sun tends to do us well. You know, you would think it would do Africans well. Think about this. The sun does us well. If we ground ourselves, it does us well. Oh, that's what I was looking for. That's really why I came here. Like these are some of the hairstyles of I think these are Algonquins by James Woolridge in Virginia or Virginia Indians, whatever. Okay, different hairstyles. No roughness. Everybody with a smile, damn near, you know. Nice people. Our people, you know what I'm saying? We're nothing like the Africans. And it's hard for me to take any of those African stories, to be honest with you. But let's go back to the thing here. My little side stuff. Algonquin was created by the word caucus. Caucus. I hadn't heard that one. We were talking about the boarding schools that were Indian boarding schools, right? So once I started to wonder why this school wasn't listed in those boarding schools, right? So I started on a pathway of looking up other boarding schools or whatever. Then eventually I was like, let me ask ChatGPT. Like, first I asked it, not list the other schools. Hold on. First I asked it, I can't see my photo, my what you call it, but it says, I was asking like some of the earliest photographs of Native American boarding schools. And actually, I could probably find it in my chat GPT. It's probably still up. Yeah, here we go. So what are some of the Native American boarding schools, the earliest photographs? These were some of the main and only earliest photographs from the 1800s that they can say. 1871 Quaker missions, but even then, I don't really see any photos on their website on that particular thing. So I don't even know if the photos they gave me are from the time frame it's specifying. Because one time I went to a website and it did have the photo, but even though it had the photo, it was talking about it. You see that? You see how they take these? They had that because all of those people had one of these too. These little fake little photos, and I feel like they just took these and put them all together on that other photograph. But I could be wrong because they're trying to say this is what he looked like before, and this is what he looked like when we was done with him. And they literally nobody asked questions like, "How did you get rid of the melanation within a boarding school?" Right? How does that happen within a boarding school? I don't believe that there was any melanation, because one of these, if not both of them, are fake. Both of them, in my opinion, are fake. In my opinion. Let me get a drink. Yeah, so both of these are fake, in my opinion. And as we go down, we see even more. These look like some Filipinos, to be honest with you. Or not Filipino, they look more maybe Korean. I don't know. We did a little phenotype class the other time, but they said, hey, this is what they looked like before, and this is after we cleaned them up and got them ready for the military. Like, and people believe this. People believe this. I can't even see the same people in these faces. And again, how does this one? They don't really have dark skin, but this one, the skin really ain't dark either here. But it's like they trying light tricks, and especially with there. But you definitely see the distinct change in the skin tones. But these would be some of their so-called earliest. This is some of their earliest 1883 at the Carlisle Indian School. Now, what's funny is I can't find yearbooks from those years. I can't find a yearbook from this school until 1918. And when you use inside that yearbook, it's a whole lot of military stuff. Remember? I'll show y'all. That's the same book or the same school. Right here, the Carlisle. And when you go down up in there, that's where you have this one thing. This thing be moving kind of slow. Now it's picking up. Now, okay. But you got a bunch of people in literal military outfits. And notice nobody is copper colored. Okay? So nobody's really mixed with anything. And most of these people look like, what does he look like? You think he looks like a native, or does he look like a German? What do y'all think that looks like? He look like a German? Mein Fuel. Filipinos again, YT. A YT German. What is he doing here? And what are they doing in these military outfits? And I know nobody's going to sit here and tell me that they just put on these outfits as school uniforms because they just wanted their people to be polished. This is also a student battalion. What do you mean a student battalion? Damn it. But a lot of that is throughout this Carlisle. And that's what's, and another thing I'll show you. Carlisle Indian Boarding School yearbooks in the Oklahoma Historical Society. So you know I'm not bullshitting. Well, that's where I got the book. Hold on. Unless the other one was maybe it was a Chilocco one that had a whole list of them.